Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the Circuit Pro Ricard at the French GP for the third race of the season. My name is Jay Morris, and last week we had the endurance race back at the Belgian Grand Prix, which was a good race indeed, 3 hours long, and Jonathan was the one who was commentating alongside me and Scott later on during the stint. So as the drivers made their way on the circuit then, at this 15-minute qualifier session, we did get a glimpse at the practice times, didn't we? And let's see then if that is an indication to see if Jake Garrett can put himself back into P1, because in the last race he took part in, he had an internet connection issue which caused him to lag out, so therefore he wasn't able to take part. So it was disappointing for him, as he's fallen down the championship, has Jake Garrett down to 7th place, I believe, in the championship standings. So he'll be looking to bounce back, but currently in the championship standing it's Ewan Small who leads, but he was a few hundreds off of Jake Garrett in the practice sessions. Can he make it up in the qualifier session and the race to come as well, which is an hour long? And also Christian Chamo, who I don't think took part back at the Valencia Grand Prix, but he did take part back in Indianapolis, and that's when he got his first podium of the season. Apparently Christian Chamo have been talking about going to a different team because he's not really liking the Lamborghini as much as he would have wanted it to anyway, so he might see him in a different team. There's talks about it, of course, but we'll see then what Christian Chamo could do. We're having a glimpse at the full map there because my eyesight is a very poor indeed, so I'm not able to see everything, unfortunately. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but anyways, we're back, and Christian Chamo makes his way around the final corner as we start with a lap with the Swedish driver then. So let's see how he gets on during this qualifier session, if he puts me on drive. Of course, spectating the wrong person, as I want to go on board with Christian Chamo if I can find him, which is quite hard to do in this menu itself because I want to go on board to see what he's doing in the corners, so I can't really find him on this map, which is quite disappointing and frustrating. There he is. So coming out of turn 2 then, as we make our way down into turn 3, we'll go on board with him to see what he can do as we try to stay on board with him. Here we are, turn 3, taking a lot of curve on the entry, same for turn 4 as well. Let's see what he does into the slow speed corner at turn 5, 2 slow speed corners of course, use the curve on the outside, and track limits could be a factor as well. The tyres don't really hold up. Oh, look at that, it takes a lot of corner there, which allows us to, of course, in ACC. It's not like Formula 1 where that would have been track limit violation, but of course here in ACC is a lot different. You can explore the track limits a bit, but here we are then down the main straight, the long straight. We ignore that chicane on the left hand side as we continue our way down then towards this right hander, and let's see what he does. And this is the middle sector, and let's see what Christian Chamo could do as we make our way into this right hand. Another lift off there using all the track on the exit as we make our way now into this double right hander. We go, a tricky double right hander as he takes a very wide line there. Let's see how he does on the exit, connects well with the apex using all the road on the left hand side. So it looks like a decent first lap there for Christian Chamo then, as he gets on the power once again and is able to find those limits as we make our way now towards the penultimate corner and the final corner we go. And let's see where Christian Chamo could put his Lamborghini. He said he didn't really like the driving style of it, but he seems to be doing well so far in these early stages of the qualifying session then. So let's see then as he makes his way towards the line, and where can the Lamborghini 101 go? As he crosses the line right now, it's a 54.9. I couldn't quite see what the times were during the practice session. I did see the gap, but not the actual time itself, which is quite weird. But we'll see what the true representative lap time is, and get a feel to see what the lap times these drivers can produce. So Christian Chamo currently at the top as we go back to return to garage and try and see who else is on there. Nathan Booth smashes it out of the park with a 55.0. I think Christian Chamo's lap time was validated because, as you can see, he is not P1, and Ewan Small goes into P1 now with a 54.6 then, and he's pushed for 4 tenths in between himself and Nathan, and doing well in the Beamer is Ewan Small. He's currently leading the championship, but only by a small fraction, by about 6 points as well. So there's a lot to be gained in this championship indeed, as Son goes into P3 in his, I think it's in the Nissan, and he's 6 tenths behind as Josh Evandro goes into 4th in the Buzz Lightyear car. There we go, that's much better for the spectators. And I want to go on board with a certain camera angle. Sorry about the cough there. I will be coughing throughout the stream because I got a bad cough, so bear with me if I start to splutter my lungs out, but I'll try and keep it to a minimum. As we can see Verstappen there making his way towards the first set. I got to stop saying Verstappen and use the actual name. Jurjen van Vienen. Apologies if I said your last name wrong there, Jurjen. But he makes his way now on the left-hander. As we can see, more lap times on the timing sheets as Jared Dudley goes into P3 and a 10th behind of Nathan Booth and a few hundreds quicker than Son in P4 as well. Fisher goes into 6th place at RT Phil in the BMW. And also last week's endurance race at the Belgian Grand Prix, we did see Cone Racing Team who took the victory ahead of ILT and Evangel Endurance Racing Team, sorry. And the people that were to participate in that team were Dominic Crosby, Jake Garrett, and also Nathan Booth, the man in P3 right now, as Christian Chamo puts his Lamborghini into 2nd place there, so he gets a representative lap time on the board, as does Christian Chamo. Jake Garrett hasn't set a lap time, but he is out there now on that long straight, no chicane of course, so no need to worry about the braking and the exit there. But as we make our way now into this right-hander we go, not really the best camera angle we've seen so far. Coming into this double right-hander we go, just going out wide on the entry there, try and cut back through and get good exit speed out of the corner using all the curve on the left hand side, which it does do. But we can see Steve de Magel going into P3, and that's more likely from C because the last 2 races he participated in, excluding the endurance race, he's been at the back of the field. But here in France in Paul Ricard, he's just starting to get used now to the game and the McLaren itself, currently sat in a P3 and a 10th ahead of Nathan as well in P4. Son is a few hundreds behind Nathan Booth as Harry Palmer puts his McLaren into P6. I think Jake Garrett has beat Ewan Small by only fractions. That's 5 thousandths quicker than Ewan Small in P2. So once again, it is so close between Ewan Small and Jake Garrett for P1 and P2, so ever so close at the top there as it always is as we continue the runs. And Verstappen is in the pit lane as other people there circling around the circuit once more. There's a lot of cars in that final sector there, as you can see on your full map, as we're about to make our way towards the finish line for Christian Chamo. He stays into P3. But yeah, there's a lot of cars together on the circuit. Adrian Meneses, who's in a P11, the Canadian driver, took the victory back in Valencia. What a victory it was as well. Controlled the race and defended the threats from the likes of Nathan Booth, who was just behind him as well, as he gets pushed out to P12. So Adrian Meneses looking to continue his good form. I think back in the Indianapolis Grand Prix, luck wasn't on his side, but pace was on his side in Valencia. So let's see if he can keep it up then. Obviously a different circuit, so let's see how the car reacts to it. Scott Dodds in the Ford goes into P6 then, so 8 tenths away from Jake Garrett's best time, but that's promising from Scott Dodds. As the first race, there's a car there who was sliding on the exit, but Scott Dodds in Imola was quite a long way down the field, so it's nice to see him put his car into P6. Verstappen also still out there in P7. But what about Ewan Small in P2 in the BMW? He's in this train, this gaggle of cars in that first sector. And let's go on board with somebody, shall we, to see what they're doing then. Kevin in the BMW makes his way across the line now at his home Grand Prix. We can no longer say the dual chicane, because the chicane is not there. It is there, but obviously we bypass it as we go straight on. Kevin is not got a lap time on the board just yet though, so we still got about 8 minutes left in the session. I can't really see the top of these sheets there because my frame isn't in the lines. Harry Palmer in a P10, Nathan Booth in P7 there. He finished in 2nd place back, I think, at the Valencia Grand Prix without looking at the results as well. But yeah, you can see Michael Eckholt 4 tenths up in that middle sector. He's currently sat in a P12, is Michael Eckholt. So let's see if he could try and improve on his positioning. And let's see if he can find more times in this long left-hander we go before we start with the brakes once more to go into the braking zone. And you can see that he's gaining a fractions amount of time on his personal best. So let's see then if he can improve towards the top or somewhere in a competitive range. He goes into P4. That was a decent lap time there, as Dylan Hansen is 21st place then, so not the lap time he is currently searching for. Matthew Pell, MKP, in 17th place. I think he's about to make his way towards the line now, so let's see where MKP can go. The problem is though, if I keep doing this, Jared Dunley's in P3, that's a good lap time, but the more I do this, I can't really see who goes where, if that makes sense. So I think it's best if I stay on this screen. Maybe I use that screen during the race, but it can be quite frustrating and confusing at some points. So Ewan Small and Jake Garrett, the gap is still 0.005 of a second between the two, and there's 4 minutes left to go in this session, so about 2 more runs out there during this qualifying session. And Scott Dodds, Bissex in P15 in the pit lane. We've got a newcomer as well, which is, I think it is Bissex in P15, obviously, because I've introduced him in the chat. But here comes Jake Garrett. Can he extend the margin between himself and Ewan Small? Let's see, he's about to cross the line now, and he doesn't do it. So maybe this lap is the one. But here's Ewan Small on that long straight then. And we'll see the straight line speed will be very crucial at a particular part of the track. Probably we could see some slipstreaming side by side for that section as well on the circuit. But Jared Dudley, Adrian Meneses is in the pit lane. Matthew Eckholt is in P5. I think his first name is Matthew, if I did read it correctly. Michael Eckholt, there we go, it's Michael Eckholt, sorry about that. There's a lot of people beginning with M in this session trying to keep up with all of them, of course. But Michael Eckholt in P5 in the McLaren. He has been quite strong at times, has Eckholt, but just seems to be slipping back through the field. And here he is then, making his way into that final corner he goes. So as he rounds the final corner, stamps on the lap pedal once again. Where is this going to put the McLaren driver with the rest of the field as he crosses the line right now? And he's going to be, I forgot how far away the line is actually, but he stays in P5. And Ewan Small goes to the top of the timing sheet with a 53.9. He's put 2/10 if you round it up between himself and Jake Garrett. I think Ewan Small is in the pit lane, so qualifying I think might be done and dusted. Depends if he can try to sneak out there, but time is ticking down, so might have to watch from the pit lane to see what the man from Manchester could do in P2. The top two are so close, they got a big gap over the rest of the field. Ewan Small, earlier in the week, wasn't really confident about his pace, but he's currently put himself on pole, so the Scotsman doing a fantastic job. And here comes the man from up north, it's Jake Garrett in the Lamborghini as he makes his way now towards the line with 2 minutes left to go, so might get the one run in as he crosses the line now. Let's see where the Lamborghini can go. Is he back on pole? No, he's not. He stays in second place to Jake Garrett, so might have the one lap to try and snatch pole away. So there's one important lap there for Garrett. Pressure always been a mistake, so I don't think pole will be his. Ewan Small occupies that, but it's anybody else going quicker throughout this field. You can see that Jared Dunley has backed off. He'll get one more lap on the board as he's currently in that middle sector, heading towards the final sector. We've got Adrian Meneses. I don't think he's on a flying lap, judging by the way he's currently driving right now. Maybe he is, but who's that going off the track? That is, I think it was Kevin. Couldn't quite catch who it was. I think they returned to garage, did those guys. But anyways, let's see if Adrian Meneses, the man who won the Valencia Grand Prix, can get back up there. Currently in the Honda with the number 1 on his car, where he likes to be, of course, at the top of the time machines, where every single driver dreams to be. Here's Meneses making his way now towards the line, and I think he stays in P5. So crucial qualifying moments. The time is ticking down. Every single driver may have a lap, or maybe on their final lap. So let's see if there's any improvements. There's a big improvement for Sieb in the P8. That's the top 10 start for him, which will boost his performance and confidence, of course, because he's been outside the top 10, even in 20th place. So Sieb had to retire from the Valencia Grand Prix. That's the Buzz Lightyear car of Josh Evangelist, so easy to spot him. And here comes Steve Demagel, who goes into P7, so 1 place ahead of Kevin at his home Grand Prix. Kevin is in the pit lane, so no lap time from him. Christian Chamo is still in P3, and he's 100, exactly 100 quicker than Jared Dunley in P4. I think they're both on a flying lap, along with Adrian Meneses. Michael Eckhart is in P6, but he's in the pit lane, it says, but he didn't pop up, so he's coming in the pit lane, will not improve, and qualifying has been completed. Scott takes the checking flag and stays in P10, but nevertheless, it's a great qualifying from the Scotsman indeed. We should be impressed about. Staying on board with Christian Chamo, he's flying around the left hander of the penultimate corner, now diving into the final corner. Where is Jake Garrett? Harry Palmer goes into P2 now, P3, sorry. Jake Garrett is coming around the final corner, so Christian is in the pit lane, and he will not complete a flying lap. And Jake Garrett's in the pit lane too, in P2. So Ewan Small is the man on a pole position. Adrian Meneses, though, I think he's still on a lap time. Here he is then, heading through with that penultimate corner we go. And can Adrian Meneses have anything to say about it? Currently 6/10 behind Ewan Small, so would dearly love to put himself amongst the rest. And let's see where the McLaren driver could put himself. He crosses the line right now, and he stays in P6, does Adrian Meneses. Michael Eckhart is still in the pit lane. Steve Demagel, I don't know if he's on a flying lap. We did see him cross the line a moment ago, but maybe on his last flying lap then. So let's see where the Dutchman in the LT squad can go. Into the final corner we go now. There is that Buzz Lightyear car ahead of us, which is Josh Evangelho, who's also on a flying lap. So they both make their way towards the line together. Josh Evangelho goes P9, slots in behind Seeb, and Seeb stays in P8. What about Verstappen in P14? Looks like he's backed off. And Kenny in P18. Where can he go? It's another struggle qualifying session there for IRT Kenny. Dylan Crosby down in P24 has not been able to get a lap time on the board in the Lexus. Neither has Adam Hertus in P25 there. So those two are not able to get a flying lap. Dylan Hansen in 21st place, with Jacob Booth at 20th, ahead of Matthew Hobbs in 19th place. Aston Bissix in a P16 there on his debut for the league, so nice to see. But before the race, sorry about that, I'll try not to cough too much. You will hear me cough on the stream, just bear with me because I'm not able to control it, unfortunately. But yeah, I was going to say, during the endurance race, I want to shout out to the man who was commentating, which was Jonathan. Jonathan sat there for 3 hours commentating. I'm not quite sure how he done it, because it must have felt like a very long time, a lifetime in the commentary box by yourself for a moment in time too. A massive shout out to Jono. He's been around Cone Racing League for a very long time, for about 5 years now. He's been a loyal commentator too. And I first commentated alongside him in this league together in Tier 1, so I've had the pleasure to commentate with Jonathan throughout the years of Cone Racing League, whether it's ACC or F1, but either way, it's been an absolute pleasure, and a massive, huge appreciation there for Jonathan for commentating for us. I can't imagine how his voice must have felt after commentating all that action by himself for a long period of time, whereas me and Scott had to do our stints. I was racing last week, and I was in the Evangelho Endurance. So last week we had the endurance race, and it was the Belgian Grand Prix. First place was Cone Racing team, Dylan Crosby, Nathan Booth, and Jake Garrett. The top three there in first place. The three drivers who did a fantastic job overall to claim P1 and worked in harmony together to try and extract the best result. Second place was International Racing team, consisting of Seeb, Phil, and Leo Aries, the Italian, German, and the Dutchman, all together to finish in second place. Seeb was racing in the middle stint, I believe, as ILT was racing with Cone for the lead of the Grand Prix. Nathan overtook Seeb and put himself into P1, but it was a great drive from ILT regardless. Third place, Evangelho Endurance, and it was Joshua Evans and Jay Morris for P3. We just had the British GP, and I'm surprised I haven't said a single word about it, because my god, I presume all of you have seen the result. If you haven't, then you've been living under a rock. But what a British GP that was. I mean, We had a change in leadership quite a few times, mixed conditions, dry conditions as well to go with it, overtakes left, right, centre, different people leading the Grand Prix, and the wrong strategy, of course, for McLaren. McLaren should have pitted in hindsight on the medium compound tyres, and Oscar Piastri too should have got in the pit lane the same lap as Lando Norris, because it's worth losing about 2 or 3 seconds for a double stack, then losing about 20 seconds by still out there on the wrong tyre. So I feel sorry for Oscar Piastri, but bearing in mind though, he wasn't too far away from Lando Norris towards the end as Norris's soft tyres died. But for the 9th time at the Silverstone Grand Prix, it was Lewis Hamilton who won at his home Grand Prix to take his 104th win. And what a win it was. 3 years since Lewis Hamilton last won, since 2021 at Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it was a very earned victory indeed. I think a majority of the fan clubs are happy as well. Even Dutch fans I've seen are happy for Lewis Hamilton, the most respectful ones anyway. But yeah, what could it have been for Lando Norris and for McLaren? McLaren lost an easy 1-2, maybe a 1-3, because they had to do that double stack, so therefore Hamilton or Verstappen could have slipped in between. But it was one of the best races of the season as well. 2 Mercedes victories in a row. Are Mercedes back in Formula 1? The Hungarian Grand Prix is next, and it looks like Mercedes have always gone well there. Same with Ferrari too. Red Bull are under real pressure in the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, I think Verstappen will still win the Drivers' Championship for sure. But Verstappen is literally carrying that Red Bull on his shoulders. And Perez was nowhere to be seen in the race, neither was Leclerc, but obviously they both wanted the Inters to give information and delta, of course, to Sainz and Verstappen. So there's 30 seconds left to go in the session. I thought I would talk about the British Grand Prix, because why not? We got some time to spare and thoughts to share.
20 seconds.
And I thought it'd be a moment where we could talk about how good the race was. I don't think anybody in the right mind
10 seconds.
would be disappointed by the result, because the whole race was amazing. Verstappen, though, at the end of the Grand Prix on those hardcore power tyres was ballisterically quick. And we all thought that Verstappen, well, I thought Verstappen, not quite sure how you guys felt, but I thought Verstappen would take the victory away from Hamilton and Norris, which would have upset the British fans, of course, but I think Red Bull would have earned it, because Hannah Schmitz, the Red Bull team strategist, called Max in at the right time to put him on the correct tyres at the right time, especially during the interstint as well, where he overtook George Russell. Then he went to the hardcore power tyres, where the hards were better than the softcore power tyres, but Lewis Hamilton's tyre management and his great pace and him being Lewis Hamilton was able to win the British GP. Solid result. Gotta feel sorry for Oscar Piastri there. He looked very strong in Silverstone, very strong indeed, but obviously the McLaren made the wrong call. So the BMW then, Ewan Small is on pole, beating Jake Garrett by about 2/10. Harry Palmer with another strong qualifying. I think he qualified in 3rd place, didn't he? Last time out in Valencia, he's got to be the top 5 for sure. But we were at the Valencia Grand Prix last time out, 2 weeks ago, as we had the endurance race in between. Adrian Meneses, the Canadian, finished in 1st place ahead of Nathan Booth. 5 seconds Nathan Booth was behind. Alexander Rosnov finished in P3. I don't think Rosnov is here tonight, is he? No, he's not. So Rosnov, despite finishing the podium, is not here. Michael Eckhart finished in P4 ahead of Harry Palmer. Michael Eckhart set the fast lap of the Grand Prix too, so I think he took a point away. Ewan Small, who had that first lap contact, was able to make his way through the field and finish in P6. Same with Phil. Phil had contact with somebody, but still finished in P7. Jared Dunley in 8th ahead of Matthias Turk on his debut. Matthew Pell, MKP, finished in P10 ahead of his fellow Scotsman of Jack Stegel in 11th place. So Jurien van Vienen, QVR Verstappen, finished in P12. He finished in 4th in the first race of the season, but Verstappen is currently down in 14th place then, so it looks like he's been struggling so far. Josh Evancho, we know somebody spun him out. Last time at Valencia, finished in 15th place. Steve Magel in 14th, but he's currently in 8th place right now. Harry J finished in 15th. Jamal Clouden, 16th ahead of Leo Aries in 17th place. Kenny in 18th. Denziv Hansen at 19th ahead of Sebastian Wichtrup in 20th place. Sebastian Wichtrup is one of those drivers that likes to stay out there until the very last minute of the race to pit for his first pit stop. John Goodday 21st ahead of Luke Hodgman. Darren Bell 24th, Emaine McCartney 23rd ahead of Christian Chamo. Dismal race for him, but he's up as a P4. Can he score a second podium this season? Jacob Booth was finished in 26th place ahead of Kevin. Thomas Neismere, Adam Hertus, Alex Gabrich ahead of Jay Garrett, who did not take part due to internet connection issues. But Ewan Small, can he get his first victory of the season? He hasn't won a race yet as Ewan Small. Jay Garrett has. And if we look at the championship standings, Ewan Small is ahead of Michael Eccles. So it's a good day for Ewan Small to try and extend his championship lead over Michael and Adrian, because one, Michael's not here. Two, Adrian's into 6th place. Jurien van Vienen in 4th place in the championship, currently on 59 points. He's 10 points away from 3rd. Adrian Meneses. Jared Dunley in 5th. And can he continue that form? Harry Palmer in 6th, 2 points behind Jared Dunley, 3 points behind Verstappen. Jake Garrett, who shuffled into P7 due to that lost race at Valencia. But it's double file for these drivers. I was about to get racing for the first time then. Let's see what happens as I'm on the spectators menu. So I want to get on board with the right camera angle, of course. Who shall I go on board with before? There we go. That's a good camera angle. And we'll see then. Once the green light goes, which one of these two will get a better start? Will it be Ewan Small first into the first corner, or will Jay Garrett try and get ahead? He'll probably have the outside line, Jay Garrett, if he gets a good launch, to try and take the inside line away. But the green light's underway. We are underway for the third race of the season. Ewan Small gets a good start. Jay Garrett's alongside him. Further back, Harry Palmer. They go 2 by 2 into the first corner. Go. Ewan Small has the racing line, so he takes the lead. But looking up the inside, that's Harry Palmer taking on Jay Garrett. Jay Garrett's into 3rd place, but gets it back immediately going down into turn 2. Had the inside line, and he stays ahead as well. So that was a great drive to make a comeback around the outside. Here we go. That's Christian Chamo now taking part, but down the inside, Adrian Meneses has spun, and he's also spun Jared Dunley. And the top 5 of the champ. Oh, there's more contact too. There's no ghosting. There's another car spawn in the background too. So a messy first lap for those guys, as my timing sheets have been mixed up as well. So as they get updated, who's that all over the back of Harry Palmer? It looks like it could be, as we have a look right now to see who it is. There's Harry Palmer, and here he is then going down on the straight. He's in the slipstream, but Harry Palmer seems to have better straight line speed despite being in the slipstream as the car behind. That's Christian Chamo in P3 in the Lamborghini, but he's gaining and gaining and gaining. Can he take Harry Palmer on for P3? He says Christian's ahead for the time being, but he's not, because Harry Palmer, look at that 4 abreast further down the straight. Harry Palmer stays in P3. Can Christian Chamo try and fight back? Look at this 3-way battle. Son, Booth, Meneses going 3 abreast, further behind, another 3 abreast moment too. I think they make it out all unscathed to those guys, but look at this battle. And there's Christian Chamo around the outside. Great move indeed, but gets pushed on the curb. Well, I say on the curb. He went to the curb himself. But Harry Palmer goes out wide. He's looking for a better exit. Was that part of the plan to try and get a better exit and try and get him down into that penultimate corner? But the top 2 left by themselves, followed by Harry Palmer. Christian Chamo P4. Josh, great start indeed. Look at Palmer putting Christian under all sorts of pressure. Makes him go defensive. Can Harry Palmer get a better exit out of the final corner? Try and set himself up for a lunge down into turn 1. But what a first lap that was. Adrian Meneses and Jared Dunley making contact on that first lap of the race. As we all settle down now, Harry Palmer is not able to make a move, but Son is right behind and alongside too. And Nathan Booth down into turn 1 we go. They go side by side, wheel to wheel. Nathan still trying to hold in on there, and he takes it away. Steve Domagel now looking to take advantage of Son, who gets put offline, and now Steve has a clear run, but has to stay behind. Is that Echo versus Meneses? Here we go down into turn 4. The door is very tight. He needs to go through, and he can't squeeze himself through. There's a BMW of Fisher trying to get involved. ILT Phil is looking to take the action too, but he can't quite do it. So they're all very close indeed. Meneses trying to regain some lost ground after that early spin on lap 1, turn 3, sorry. But here we are on the long straight then, no chicanes, and there's no outbreak anybody into that chicane we go. But it's a long slipstream effect, and here comes Menesis on the Demargel. They go side by side, but Steve just inches forwards. But now here comes Menesis alongside, and he should be able to take away. There we go then. Has he taken the place back? Not a really good camera angle, is it, from there? But looks like, I think Steve has stayed ahead of Menesis. And here comes Phil now. Look at this. Down the inside he goes. Is this right-handed we go? And he's done it. Here comes Kevin now, trying to go up the inside. That's Verstappen, who makes contact. More contact with... And Michael Eckholt feeling the contact, going off the track there. And they're going 3 abreast then with Verstappen. And look at them. This is great racing indeed, as the driver slips through. With the timer sheet update immediately, because it can be quite confusing. But Michael Eckholt is able to keep Fisher at bay. No, he's not, because Fisher has overtaken him then. So, unfortunately, the timer sheets are not constant like it is in F1. And on this graphic, it says that where is Christian Chamo right now? Harry Palmer's in P3. So, yeah, Harry Palmer stays ahead. But Josh Evandro, as they flick the cones up in the air, Josh Evandro is starting to put some heat into this battle. Oh, looks like Harry Palmer has got a bit deep out of turn 2. And Christian Chamo in the Lamborghini might be able to strike on that one, but too far behind to make any sort of move. Has the guys behind in this train settled down now? Looks like they have then. So Verstappen still in P12, tried to go for a move on Michael Eckholt, but wasn't able to pull off Jared Donnelly there too in P13. Jared Donnelly and Menesis spun. But who was the driver who got involved? Was it Matthew Pell down in P15? He's gone for a pit stop as Matthew Pell, and he could have been the one that made contact. So there's a cone in the middle of the track, but it won't affect the drivers too much. No damage will be done, of course, on these cars. And here we are then, Ewan Small versus Jake Garrett, the main contenders in the championship, I dare say. Jake Garrett is so close to the back of the BMW, but too far away to make any sort of move. These two are going hammer and tong like the... Oh, look at this there. Jake Garrett's almost alongside him. But here we go. Is this right-handed? Is this a move for Jake Garrett? No, it's not. But Ewan Small goes a bit wide, opens up the door for Jake Garrett and says, thank you very much. He goes through. And up into P1 he goes there. And look at the size difference between the BMW and the Lamborghini. But is Ewan Small, can he fight back? Going down into turn 12 we go, and Jake Garrett's able to stay around the outside and maintain the lead. So I hope sorry about that, I hope the top two continue to scrap throughout the whole race. The battle for P3 is intense with Harry, Christian and Josh, with Nathan just further behind. After Nathan got himself in a 3 abreast battle as Son tried to overtake him into turn 1, so that's why they shuffled further down the field. But the midfield looking so intense. There is Phil, and he overtakes Menesis in the final corner. That's a great lunge there from Menesis, but there might be a response to come from Menesis. They go wheel to wheel now on the main straight, and we'll see if Menesis can try and send one up the inside. Phil is trying to close the door, trying to move as left as he can, and we go down into turn 1. Phil has the outside line converted onto the inside line, but people can go deep here into turn 2 and try and get the cutback on you, and that's what Menesis is doing. Gets a good launch, but here comes Michael Eckholt. Will he try and make it 3 abreast? He goes off the track fully, and there's contact to Phil. He's in the sandwich. There it goes. Eckholt around the outside off the track, and now Menesis and Phil are back to squabble. There's the contact with Verstappen. He's made contact with Menesis, and he's spun again in the same corner. I feel sorry for Menesis there. That's the second time he's spun in that corner, and these guys getting their elbows out there. Verstappen tried to turn tried to turn it into an opportunity to overtake, and I think Michael Eckholt has pushed it to P12, but might take on Jared Donnelly then. Here comes Jared Donnelly. Look at Christian Chamo. Let's go on board with this battle. There he is, side by side with Harry Palmer as we go down into the double right-hander we go. Oh, there's a car off the back. Was that see? Look at that, Harry Palmer sweeping back through on the inside and takes P3 away. But the battle for P2 and P1 between Ewan Small and Jake Garrett getting ever so intense indeed between these two. I want more camera angles, I want more screens, because I can't keep an eye on everybody at the same time. Unfortunately, Jared Donnelly is there with Eckholt. Has Jared Donnelly been overtaken by Eckholt? Yes, he has. He's shuffled into P12. There's Scott Dodds there in 30th place in the Ford. I think Kevin's got himself now up to 30th place. And oh, look at who's off the track. Is that Harry? Yes, he is. Harry in the final corner is off the track. And here we are. These three embroiled in a battle. Look who's coming. It's Nathan Booth, who was 2 seconds behind. Now he's 9/10. He's dropped Son, and he's on the back of this battle. So it could be a four-way battle for third place. Christian Chamo versus Harry Palmer. Remember, third to sixth. Actually, first to sixth. All six of them are in a party. So Christian says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Harry says, "Come on, Christian, give me a bit more space, mate." They all be complaining at each other, but it's all fun and games at the end of the day. I think Nathan Booth is the silent one in the party because he tends to go on mute as he sweats it out. And I'm going to kid Nathan, of course, but full concentration is required here at Paul Ricard. There's the top two in the foreground in the distance now, pulling away, and third to sixth continue their battle then with Christian Chamo in the lead of it. I think Ewan Small is a bit too far back, but can he gain a bit of time back on the main straight? I said the main straight, the long straight, sorry, in that little sector there. He's gaining a bit of time on Jay Garrett, so let's see if he can try and make some sort of impression going down into this few corners. But in the background, here comes Harry Palmer versus Christian Chamo, and this is another chapter to be written between these two. In the background, I think that's Son and Sieb about to go wheel to wheel too. Let's have a look to see what those two are doing. I think Son is ahead of Sieb still, but Harry Palmer up the inside again. That looks like his favourite opportunity to overtake. And I can't wait to see what happens between these guys because it could be a four-way battle for third. Here he is up the inside. Who's that going off the track? I'm not quite sure who that was, but Harry Palmer and Josh Evangel now side by side because Christian Chamo went back up the inside again. I love this scrap, but that car ideally should have got out of the way. I think it's a back marker. I'm not quite sure what he's doing there. Yeah, it is a back marker. He's going up the inside for some reason. The 116 needs to get out of the way, whoever that is. I know he wants to get those positions back. Oh, I am talking about the right thing. Yes, he is. Yes, I am there. Jake Garrett, what's happened to him? He's down in P6. Don't tell me he's been disconnected, has he? What's happened to Jake Garrett down in P6? Oh, is that Jake Garrett? Garrett has fallen down into 6th place there. My apologies for missing that, of course. But Jake Garrett, it's him. It's the leader who's fallen down into 6th place there. And he must have went out wide, so wide. But was there contact between Newman Small and Jake Garrett? That's what I mean. Because sometimes I'm not good at identifying people because it can be quite difficult. I can identify Phil, that's the most obvious one, and Josh Evangel, of course. But I don't memorise deliveries. It can be quite difficult. But my apologies, Jake Garrett. Yeah, you should have been fighting for that position. He's not a bad marker. He's there in P6. But I wonder, did Ewan Small and Jake Garrett make contact? Because they were so close. Did Ewan Small try to go up to the inside and push Jake Garrett off wide? Did Jake Garrett lose it by himself? I'm not quite sure, but Jake Garrett is still continuing. This is a massive consequence in terms of the championship for Jake Garrett, who needs them points because he missed a race back in Valencia due to the interconnections issues. But immediately, the two boys from Manchester put each other under all sorts of pressure there. And Nathan Booth and Jake Garrett. Here we are. Is Jake Garrett? Can he go to the inside? No, Nathan has it around the outside and will carry the speed and the momentum, of course, to go with it. But it looks like Harry Palmer now. We have to think about Josh Evangel. He's put some great moves, but the tyre wear is brutal around here, so I'm not surprised to see if these tyres are overheating or starting to wear out. We still got 48 minutes left of this stint. It is, I think, a one-stop strategy in this race. As we head into the final corner then to start lap 7, Ewan Small has a massive lead. He has, well, I say no pressure, but there's always pressure no matter what position you are in. But he can just relax a bit, maybe try and cool the tyres down if they are overheating, maybe try and save the tyres, of course. But it looks like Christian Chamo now is starting to pull away from Harry Palmer. So Christian Chamo has probably found his form. He doesn't really like the car, the Lamborghini car. But second place, another podium could be on his way. But a long way to go in this race. Easy to make mistakes, easy to lose concentration as well. And as we can see there, these guys are bunched up now. Son and Demogel are not too far behind, so that's a great scrap going on between them. And Son is starting to close up on Jay Garrett ahead of him too. As we go on the main straight once again, Jay Garrett. How calm and composed is this man when he's made mistakes. Does he get very angry easily, like me? Did you lose your calm? Is he able to get back on form? Here he is, side by side now with Nathan. That Lamborghini having better straight line speed than the McLaren, better downforce and spot. Here we are then, Jake Garrett is about to go around the outside, if we can see it of course, and there we go then. Will they make it unscathed? Jake Garrett's going to go all the way around the outside, into turn 9 we go, and they're still side by side as they continue down. It's a double right-hand we go. This is a great scrap, and Nathan just inching forwards ahead of Jake Garrett, and Jake Garrett once again, look at him, it's spun! It's a shame for Jake Garrett there, as he lost his head, and the back end of the car stepped out of him, and that's his chances of winning or being back on the podium over. Jake Garrett, who absolutely dominated, I say dominated, Nathan Booth and Dominic Crosby were part of that too, but he was one of the drivers that dominated the endurance race. But here in France, it's all started to fall apart for Jake Garrett in a P6. He's got the fast lap still to his name. He just needs to try and stay calm now. Where has he been shuffled down to? P9 now. He's into 10th, maybe 11th. He's fallen all the way down the field. Jake Garrett, these points are crucial, so he needs to stay in the race for sure. He's got some great pace. I dare say should be second, but mistakes like that has put him down into 13th place. Oh, looks like Nathan Booth got shape there into turn 3, into turn 4. But looks like Christian Chamo now has started to pull away from Harry Palmer. So Christian Chamo has beautifully defended against Harry Palmer, despite all of Harry's attempts to take P3 away, and started to pull away. I've already interviewed the series of first and second. There was no podium interviews in Valencia as it was a very long race and I had to go to sleep immediately due to work the next day. Podium interviews will be on, of course. And if you do hear me go silent or cut off mid-sentence, because I'm muting my mic as I've had a coughing fit, so yeah, don't worry. My mic is muted for a specific reason. But Ewan Small then continues to lead ahead of Christian Chamo in P2. Harry Palmer now is a second further back. We've still got some more scraps in the midfield there. There they are. These Gagala cars, including Jurien van Vienen, Jared Dunley, and Kevin Jeroen, with Jake Garrett into P13. Jake Garrett's got a lot of respect for Kevin Jeroen. They're good friends, of course. They work to help each other during the parties. I think Kevin, last time I was in that party, I didn't even quite see him in that Cone party, so let's see if he is there and maybe having a bit of conversations between those two, but obviously no team orders on that occasion. There are the other cars, and I like to mention every single driver if I can. Adam Hertos, who started down into 25th place, is up to 18th. Jacob Booth, who started I think in the 20s and now 19th, with Kenny in 20th place there. Kenny is a very quick driver on Formula 1, but here in ACC is a completely different story, of course. Not everyone's favourite game, of course, ACC. Maybe he's still adjusting. I think he's a new runner in ACC, the game itself, like me. Although I did beat Kenny last time out. But drive-through penalty for track limits there for 28. So that's Jared Dunley, who has picked himself up a drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits. The gap's fluctuated a bit. The gap was 6.3 between Ewan Small and Christian Chamo. Now it's 5.9. So let's see where the strengths and weaknesses lies in the hands of the Lamborghini of Christian Chamo and Ewan Small, who has a 6-second gap and can start to breathe just a little bit. Obviously, still need to maintain that concentration level and managing the pace and managing the tyres as well. He has a bit of breathing space, can relax just a bit. The gap's got up to 6.1 in that middle sector alone. But Cedar Magel, who had poor results, it must be said, in the first two races, was way further behind in the 20s, now finds himself in 7th place, fighting of course with Son for P6. Son is starting to catch Nathan Booth. They were fighting the first lap, was Nathan and Son, but it looks like they're bringing along Seb as well for good measure. Look at Jake Garrett now versus Kevin, and Kevin has been demoted down into 13th place as Jake Garrett pops himself back into 12th. So I'm happy he stayed in the race. Hopefully he's got his momentum. Maybe he's good when he's out in front, but when it comes to battles, he might suffer from pressure. But Jake Garrett's a mighty driver, of course, but there's no room for error in this short championship season where all the points matter. All it takes is one small mistake, and that one small mistake has big consequences for the race. There's no yellow flag. Yeah, there is yellow flags. I don't know why I said that. Of course there's yellow flags, but there's no safety cars in this race. So if anybody crashes or have a heavy crash, there's no safety cars to bring yourself back in contention. So that's why concentration is high. It's high skill. But Josh and Harry, 3rd and 4th in the McLaren. Now these two have got a bit of history back in the endurance race. 2 days before the endurance race started, Harry Palmer decided to switch teams between the McLaren and towards the Porsche, which left Josh Evandro very unhappy. Understandably, of course, because we're trying to plan strategies out between all of us. But Harry went to Porsche, and it was a two-man team for the Evandro racing team with Jamie and Josh. But I said my own name there. Me and Josh, sorry. So let's see then. But they're settled down. They're still two good friends, or Josh and Harry. So when those two do a battle, you can see the tyres squealing there as he applies the brakes and they go out wide at the exit of the right-hander. But when these two battle, of course, hopefully keep it nice and clean. However, the gap in first place continues to extend. Here's Verstappen, and here comes Jake Garrett up the inside again. Can he make it stick this time? Yes, he can. Verstappen goes out wide, or Jurien van Vienen goes out wide, and Jake Garrett is able to make that lunge. Can Verstappen fly back on the braking? No, he can't. Just the door is closed for him. And Hansen there is going wheel to wheel with Hertos. Hertos making up some places after his poor, terrible qualifying, but in the race has found some decent pace in the Lexus and up to 16th place. I used to race with this man on F1 back in 2020, of course, a long time ago. It's nice to see him. But Son has now started to put pressure on Nathan. Nathan finds himself again under pressure from the man he was fighting on the first lap, which cost him a lot of time. As Nathan's tyres started to go, we did see his tyres squealing, crying for help in the fast speed corners. As Nathan's tyres started to drop off the cliff because he has fallen off the battle for P3 and P4. He was there minutes ago, but now he's fallen into the hands of Son. Son goes a bit wide himself, which might give a great opportunity for Nathan just to have that bit of breathing space. For those people just joining, I am having a bit of a coughing fit, so if I do cut off mid-sentence, that's because I'm coughing, of course. I'm putting myself on mute because I don't want you guys to hear me coughing and ruining the stream. But here we go then, Nathan versus Son. Let's see how this battle falls. There's Steve DeMargel, who's been stuck behind Son for quite a long time. But this is going to be very interesting. Can Son make a place on Nathan? Tries to go for a move. It's turn one. Unsuccessful, but maybe successful this time. Heading into this flat right-hander. Sorry, not flat. Sorry, it's not F1, Jamie. Come on. But heading into this right-hander we go. Is Nathan going to keep on the inside? Can he stay there? Yes, he can. And Son has to survive, has to stay there for another day. But Steve DeMargel, does he get a good run up the inside? There's Phil, but here comes Steve up the inside now. And let's see, can he take the place away? There's a transfer penalty there for number 28. He's further down the field, but here comes ILC Phil around the outside, but can't quite do it. Didn't have the speed, didn't have the grips to go around the outside, but still, he gets a decent exit. Michael Eckholt and Jake Garrett behind this battle as the quartet continue to scrap it out over P6. But look at ILC Phil now, has a good run out of the penultimate corner, goes up the inside into the last corner we go, and once again from the German driver in the BMW, it's another great move, and he puts himself up into P7. But Steve DeMargel is now scrapping away from Nathan. Nathan, unfortunately for him, is starting to lose pockets amount of time. His tyres must be starting to fall off. Scott Dodds is the first man to pit for new tyres. But Nathan's tyres must be slowly down for sure because he's lost a lot of time towards Josh Evandro. Josh Evandro himself has lost a bit of time towards Harry Palmer. He gained 1/10 in that first sector, so nip it up between those two, but Harry Palmer has the edge. They've interviewed Harry Palmer plenty of times, of course, in the past, with him winning in season 3 and 4, tier 3 and 4, sorry, in his championship winning days. But here comes Steve DeMargel then, has that McLaren got good straight line speed, both in the same manufacturer of cars, of course, but Steve is in the slipstream on Nathan Booth. And here we go then, Nathan go defensive once again. He's got Sieb trying to go around the outside. Does Sieb have the grip, the drive to try and go around the outside now? As they go into this right-hander we go. And Sieb just inches forwards. It's the wrong driver, sorry. Has he got ahead? No, because Nathan there still has the inside line and still maintains. But does he go a bit deep? He does, but blocks him off and therefore stays in P5. Josh is starting to close in on Harry Palmer just though. The gap is under 9/10, but here we are then. That's Nathan Booth once again finding himself in the hands of Sieb, putting him under massive pressure. As we go now into this final corner, I believe a bit of contact was made too. As we go down into the final corner, there's ILT Phil sniffing for an opportunity to overtake. I think Michael Eckholt is involved in the battle now, which he is, so this is going to be a very interesting indeed. Somebody is in the pit lane. That's Jake Garrett going for an early stop in comparison to others, maybe because his tyres are more slightly worn off due to that spin a few minutes ago. Ewan Small continues to extend his advantage over Christian Chamo. Harry Palmer's in P3, but Josh Evanjo has closed the gap between himself and Harry Palmer. Here comes Phil, gets a good run out of turn 2 into turn 3 now. They're both in ILT, of course, both departed together, and they make it out cleanly. And I think Phil is now up to P6. Nathan Booth, though, is great defending still from him, under massive pressure from like 3 cars behind him. And he's still putting those guys at bay, keeping them behind him. But still, these guys have got some great pace. Now, the battle between P3 continues between Harry Palmer and Josh Evanjo. They had a scrap for P3 early on in the race, but thanks to Jake Garrett being taken out of the equation, Josh still has an opportunity for a podium because Christian Chamo is looking in the background there. Who is that going side by side? Here we go, that's ILT Phil. Is that on Nathan? I think it is, you know, going into this right hander we go. There's Phil, gets a better run. And let's see then, can he make a move up the inside? That's DeMargel, I think, going side by side. It is. That's Sieb versus Phil. Sieb off the track and allows Phil through. Got to watch out because there is Matthew Eckholt, Michael Eckholt, looking to take the place away. So that's a great lunge to get back up into 6th place from Phil. And Sieb, unfortunately for him, lost the place towards Son and had to watch out for Matthew Eckholt. Michael Eckholt, sorry. There's a lot of Matthews in here. But here we go then. Josh Evanjo and Harry Palmer. How is their tyre management? Christian Chamo has boxed, I think. I hope so. Hopefully he hasn't made a mistake somewhere. Has he made a mistake? Is that him? Oh dear, Christian Chamo in the Lamborghini has had a big mistake. I thought he pitted, but he's dropped down into P4. How on earth has he done that, I wonder? Now he's lost 2nd and 3rd. His podium chances then are gone. But not gone yet because there's still 34 minutes left to go in this race. That's a big mistake there for Christian Chamo. It's so difficult to overtake an ACC. And it will have big consequences for him in the championship too. And his podium aspirations. But yes, Christian Chamo has made a mistake out of the final corner and has gave the podium towards Harry Palmer and Josh Evanjo. Evanjo and Palmer will be happy to be on the podium together, but still they want to get the most places they can. How's it going for the battle for P5 and P6? Actually, Nathan Booth has pulled away slightly from Phil and Son. So despite being under massive pressure, what was going on between Nathan and his car? Was it due to overheated issues? Did he make a mistake somewhere? Did he go off the track and have a brief moment? And look at this. Phil is under pressure from Son, right behind him too. So Son's got some decent pace. He's still in this battle despite being overtaken by Sieb earlier on in the race, but back ahead of him now thanks to Sieb's mistake in the last lap. And here is Phil once again defending from Son. But Nathan Booth, though, whatever issue he had earlier on, has he fixed it and sorted it out and is able to try and get back to the pace he was originally? I think Dylan Hansen and Dominic Crosby, I think, started down in last place. He was one of those drivers who didn't set a lap time, and he's up into P13. So great drive from the South African Dutchman, of course. But as you can see, the gap is now 1.3, so it keeps fluctuation between the two. Nathan Booth has pitted then, and he's probably had enough of those tyres. And more tyres and more fuel is required to the car. and he's got half an hour left to go on his next stint to see how he does. Dennis Hansen is still putting Dominic Crosby under pressure. And Scott Dodds, we know he pitted earlier on. Matthew Pell, MKP, has officially retired from this race, so he's out of the Grand Prix. Here's Matthew Pell. Was he that driver who got caught up in that first lap melee when two people made contact with each other, spun each other out? Adrian Meneses, of course. And I think the other one, I can't remember who the other one was. That's how bad my memory is. If I had to take a guess, I don't know. I don't want to take a guess, but that's how bad my memory is, of course. Was it Matthew Echo, and Meneses who made contact in the opening stages? But anyways, I think Matthew Pell who got caught up because there was a car in the middle of the road and he had a lot of damage sustained to his car too. Hence why he's retired. But look at this, Son's getting so close but still too far behind to make a move. We are almost halfway there in this race. Ewan Small, we barely mentioned him in this race, is still in P1 by 11 seconds, sorry. Josh Evancho is on a good form right now. He did get taken out back in Valencia, looking for a comeback drive. Ewan Small is in the pit lane to do his one and only pit stop. So for those wondering who's new to ACC, if they're in the green section, that means they completed their first pit stop. If they got 1, 2 or 3 next to their name, that means that means they got to pit twice or 3 times or once. But this time it's once. As Josh Evancho is in the pit lane, same with Fisher and Demogel in P8 there. So is Josh Evancho thinking about an uppercut on Harry Palmer there in P2? We're about to find out now. It's a very long pit stop indeed. The pit lane entry is not the same as Formula 1. The pit lane entry is at the penultimate corner, whereas the pit lane entry here is just a few lengths down the straight. Can Christian Chamo close in on Harry Palmer? That's the question. Has he got the pace to close in? Hasn't faced him too much, but these two had a great scrap for P3 early on.
Not over yet.
And we are halfway through this race indeed. It's been a great race so far. Might have more action towards... Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm pressing the wrong button all the time, but here we go. I am very hot indeed in the commentary box. Very hot, even though it's not too warm in the UK, despite it being summer here in the UK. We had a lot of rain in the past week here where I am. But I wonder, will Harry Palmer respond to Christian Chamo? Those two will put themselves in the pit lane to try and stay ahead of Josh. Ewan Small is encountering a bit of traffic, but it shouldn't be too disadvantage for him, as he should be able to clear him with ease on those fresher tyres and that huge pace advantage he had in the earliest stints. That's a stop and go penalty, I think, for Phil. It is. Phil in 14th place has just got himself a stop and go penalty, unfortunately. That's a massive blow to his race. He was doing a fantastic job with all that bastard going on, but Harry Palmer, Son and Christian Chamo, all three of them now in the pit lane, and that'll give the lead towards Kevin. Kevin is at his home Grand Prix, and he'll experience leading the race for the first time at his home Grand Prix in ACC. Has Ewan Small? Yes, he has. He has overtaken Hodgman. So didn't get stuck behind him for too long. And look at this battle. That Sieb is ahead of Phil now. Phil's race has completely been destroyed after that stop and go penalty. He'll be so frustrated with himself. But the question is, where's Josh Evancho going to rejoin in comparison to Chamo and Palmer in second place? We're about to find out in a few seconds' time. Where will Harry Palmer and Chamo feed out? Can Josh undercut those two ahead of him and try and put himself in second place? He couldn't overtake on the track, but here we are. on the straight. I think Harry Palmer has stayed out in front. Yes, he has. So Harry Palmer is in front, but bear in mind though, just coming out of the pit lane, you're on cold tyres, so you need to ease those tyres in to the operating window, and the grip should be there for you. But at this stage, I think Josh Evangelo has to gain as much as he can to put Harry Palmer under pressure. Just got out of the pit lane. So Kevin Hodgman in P1 and P3 are still yet to pit in this race. It's been a thriller of a race so far here in Paul Ricard. And let me know what you think of this race too. 16 laps completed, 27 minutes left to go in this race. We've seen a lot of errors from driver. Jake Garrett is down at P12, so despite pitting earlier in this race, Jake Garrett pitted minutes before everybody else, and he's still in P12. He hasn't really gained much on his brand new tyres then, so it looks like Jake Garrett has lost some pace in that Lamborghini, and this will be a huge favour for Ewan Small in the championship. Matthew Eckholt is under serious pressure, I think, or putting Nathan under serious pressure for P7. Nathan's been under a lot of pressure during this race, and he's managed to defend from it really beautifully, but how long can he keep Matthew or Michael Eckholt at bay? Nathan, who has been close to a podium this season, in fact he's been on the podium actually, in Valencia in round 2. He tried to fight Adrian Meneses for the battle for the lead, but Adrian Meneses controlled the race and therefore was able to keep Nathan Booth at bay and finish in first place. But this time in France, it's the opposite way around. Meneses hasn't got any sort of pace to respond with, unfortunately for him, in a P13. But it looks like all these drivers then have their strengths and weaknesses on different tracks, of course. Maybe the cars too have their strengths and weaknesses on different tracks. Maybe some cars working better than others on other circuits. Kevin in P2 still has not pitted. What's the pit lane loss? Around 50 seconds, I'm not quite sure. Son, oh dear, Son in 50th place has picked himself up a stop and go penalty. He's in the pit lane right now to serve that. Phil in 22nd place has served it too. What's happened there? So Hodgman is coming out of the pit lane then. Do you know what? Shall we go on board for the first time in this race, because I think nothing's really happening. So we might as well go on board and go on the drive menu to try and find out what's going on. So there's Ewan Small having a word of his own right now. Harry Palmer is in second place with Josh Evangelo right behind him. And there goes Nathan Booth side by side with Michael Eckholt. Here we go then. Into the right-hander we go, and Nathan trying to stick on the inside as Matthew has to go all the way around the outside as we continue this battle going down as the next two right-handers we go. Michael Eckholt has the driver on the outside, but Nathan, can he go down the inside trying to defend? No, he can't, because Michael has carried the speed through the double right-hander. But Nathan is going to try and send on the inside. He can't do it, and therefore Michael is able to stay in front of him, and Nathan gets a snap of oversteer there, and C. Demagel will be all over the back of him too. What could Josh Evangelo do in P3? He's been stuck behind Harry Palmer for the second half of this race, and looks like he's not able to make any sort of pressure on him. He's still stuck behind the McLeod driver Harry Palmer, but nevertheless these guys are doing a great job. If I interview all these three people, that'll be quite a good interview actually, because I know all these three people. But is there any way for Josh Evangelo to try and take second place away from Harry Palmer? Ewan Small, the Scotsman in P1, is nowhere to be seen. He's a very quick driver indeed. He showed it on F1 back in 2023. When he used to race, of course. He doesn't no longer league race on F1, but he's still a strong driver here in ACC. Harry Palmer, who started to develop some great pace in F1, but we haven't had a lot of league racing recently on F1 so far, so I'm not quite sure what their pace is like on the new 24 game. But obviously the sign-ups are available. If you want to race in Formula 1 at 24, go to the sign-ups on the Cone website or on the Cone Discord server and get yourself signed up for the F1 24 season, ready for season 11 it's been a long period of time between Season 10 and Season 11 in Current Racing League because of the updates as well, and the F124 being such a bad handling model, and also the prices too, which have demoted people to race on that game. A lot of complaints are being put on F1 so far, but they want the handling to be sorted out. Hopefully it does get sorted out too, as I will return back to garage to see what's going on elsewhere on the circuit. Did Dominic Crosby and Kenny, the Finishman versus the South African Dutchman, that puts each other under pressure. Haven't really seen Dominic Crosby up there so far this season. Looks like he's struggling. He is Dominic Crosby. And Jared Dudley has commented in the chat. Great lap, just getting ruined by in 30 seconds, says Jared Dudley. So lucky to him there. I don't think Dominic Crosby actually took part in Valencia, so he did make an appearance in Valencia. As I look at the chat, this is the standings, sorry, not the results. So I will go back to this round 2 to see where Dominic Crosby finished. I don't think he took part in Valencia, so he might not have been there for the Valencia Grand Prix as a Dominic. If Marco Echo can finish in P4, that's 2 P4 finishes for him, but he's 4 seconds away from Christian Chamo. Do you know what? Despite that mistake from Christian Chamo, he actually hasn't been able to gain time on the 2 guys ahead of him. So Christian Chamo has lost time towards Harry Palmer and Josh Evangelos. Their podium might be secured. There's still 20 minutes left to go in this race, and any sort of mistake can put Christian back into 2nd and 3rd place. He had great pace and he pulled away from these 2, but ever since that mistake, whatever he did, he's not able to gain on 2nd and 3rd place. They've got it covered now, and the gap's stabilised between 2nd and 3rd between Josh and Harry Palmer, so might not be a battle for P2 and P3 going on, but Josh on several occasions got really close, but not close enough. Harry Palmer, of course, started in the top 3 back at the Valencia Grand Prix. Didn't quite have the race pace as he finished in 5th place, but this time 2nd place will mean the more to him. He's getting better and better on ACC. Is Harry Palmer, proper true contender. These guys are doing a great job so far. I think Scott Dodds might find himself a finished driver all over the back of him in the BMW. So let's see what Kenny can do against Scott Dodds, who's driven a good race so far in the P12, scoring some decent points. Adrian Meneses is just in front of him by 4.4 seconds, but considering his pace in the first few races, finishing near P20, he's done a good job so far as Dodds. So he's really impressed me in this race. As Scott, as he himself, of course, is liked by everybody around the paddock. He's a very popular man, and also a very good commentator indeed, and a great driver too, and a friend. Let's not forget to mention. Kenny, though, in the P13, is starting to put big pressure on the Scotsman in for P12. Kenny racing for ILT and looking to progress further into the team as well. Now in the BMW for the ACC League. Let's see if he's able to put a move on. No, he's too far back. He's not able to gain any sort of time in the slipstream on this straight either. So it looks like Harry Palmer now might have P2 secured. He's starting to inch away from Joshua in a P3 there. So it looks like Harry Palmer's got some decent pace. I don't know if he's closing in on Ewan Small in front of him. I haven't been looking at the gap between himself and Ewan Small, but I think we all know this man in P1 right here will win the race. He's done a fantastic job, has the Scotsman of Ewan Small. Finished on the podium once in the Indianapolis Grand Prix. He got spun out in Valencia on lap 1, but still came home to finish in a great P6. And here he is in the lead of this race by 16 seconds as well. So this man has controlled the race beautifully. If only Jake Garrett down in P10. But look at Jake Garrett, he's side by side now with Jurien Van Vienen. And what's happened to Jake? Jake Garrett's fallen back down to P10. So, no, he's not. There they are. So instead Jake Garrett got ahead of Verstappen, but I think Verstappen must have been made a mistake because he's 6 seconds behind now of Jake. I think he has, you know. I think Verstappen has had an error somewhere on the circuit because Adrian Meneses, who was about 4 seconds behind Verstappen, is now 1 second behind him. So I think Jurgen van Vienen, unfortunately, has made a mistake somewhere. And do you know what's common as well? The people that's made the most mistakes today are in the Lamborghini. Is that Lamborghini a tricky car to handle here in France? Is it harsh as tyres? Does it overheat a lot, or does it lose the back end easily too? Is it a hard car to drive? Must be said. But now Jake and Kevin then are in a battle for P8 and P9. Jake is trying to gain as many places as he can to try and reduce the points deficit in the championship. But Jake Garrett in the early season though, even though it is 3 races in, every single race counts. And in a short season where mistakes should be at a minimum for these guys, and Dominic Crosby and Scott, there they are going side by side. Scott gets a decent exit, and there goes Kenny too. And this is a great scrap. There's Scott, there's Kenny, and there's Dominic Crosby. Crosby side by side with Kenny. Kenny make a move on the finish driver, and he can. That's a good one indeed. Is Kenny, though, able to go back up the inside? Dominic leaves enough space to go through. Maybe it's a bit too kind, but there's a bit of contact there between Kenny and Crosby. I think Kenny's backing off to allow Crosby through, which is great respect indeed. And Crosby stays in 13th place, or pulls himself up into P13. But Jay Garrett still hunted down Kevin Giroux in a P8 there. Kevin, a very quick driver himself as well in this league. And the gap has gone down a bit between P3 and P4. So actually, Christian Chamo in P4 is starting to close in on Joshua Vanjo. There's 15 minutes left to go in this race. Could we see a battle between P3 and P4? It could be on the cards. But Josh might be under slight pressure from Christian behind. Christian himself made a big mistake. He's looking to get back on the podium. And here we are on the long straight once again. The gap updates between the guys. And Christian Chamo's 2.8, so actually he's lost 3/10 there towards Joshua Vanjo in the middle sector. So I think Josh and Harry are secured on the podium, unless of course those two make a mistake. But I haven't seen those two put a foot wrong in this race at all. They've done a fantastic job, and they keep going around in P2 and P3, making no sort of mistake. I think Josh will be happy with P3, will be delighted. I think I did hear him struggle complaining about the track here in France. Maybe not him, but somebody else did complain how difficult the circuit was, how much it eats your tyres up as well, and overheats. So track limits are a factor around here, especially in the F1 game. But no such thing as a struggle there for Ewan Small. He's flown by in this race. The Scott's been finding a lot of time, of course. Driving 100% is Ewan Small. Very impressed with this man indeed. There he is on the cockpit view. That's what it looks like from Ewan Small's point of view, and there's nobody in front of him at all. And there's more cones being flickered up in the air, but it shouldn't affect anybody at all. As I have a quick look through to see what's going on throughout the whole field there. Let's see, is Jake Garrett now able to put more pressure on Kevin? He's been stuck behind him for several laps now. He's not able to try and find a move. Where is the best move there for Jake Garrett down in P9? Made one too many mistakes in this race, has Jake Garrett. And no small mistakes had big implications for his race outcome tonight, unfortunately. More points will be lost. He lost a lot of points at Valencia due to internet connection issues, and now he's about to lose more points towards Ewan Small due to those 2 mistakes he made. He spun out behind Nathan, and he spun himself out to somewhere on the track. I'm not quite sure where it was. It's been a great race so far, but look at Kevin, look at Chamo in P4. So actually, Chama might have some decent race late pace because the gap was 2.8 seconds about a lap ago, literally. And now, Chamo is starting to find some pace in his Lamborghini. Has Christian got some confidence back in his Lamborghini? Because before he made that mistake, he was pulling time on second and third place of Harry and Josh. And here he is then. The Swedish driver might sense a podium. And the battle for P3 could be on between these two. Let's see the gap. The gap is 1.1. He's gained a huge amount of time. That's 7/10. And it's not even like Josh is losing a lot of time to Harry either. So I think Christian has generally got some good race pace. But where has this race pace come? Has he finally calmed down after that mistake earlier on? Has he found his rhythm and composed himself again? And looks like Christian Chamo then could be on course for a podium. He's getting ever so closer to Josh. A 10th there and a 10th here too. And let's see what the gap is now between Josh and Evandro. That's 1.1 still, but he's gained a few hundreds on Evandro. Every single 10th counts here in this race. There's 10 minutes left to go in this Grand Prix. Can Josh Evandro defend from Christian Chamo, or will it be the Spanishman on the podium? We're about to find out in 11 minutes time to see what the outcome of this race will be. However, Sieb is starting to put pressure on Nathan Booth. Michael Eckhol has done a fantastic job despite his first lap contact, I think with Adrian Meneses in a P11. If I go back to lap 1, which should be a wise thing to do because my memory is so bad despite it happening only about 49 minutes ago. So as I go back to lap 1 of this race to find out what happened between those two, we're about to find out who made contact with who. Because there's no there is replays. Do you know what? Nah, it's too risky. I'm not going to do it. But Jake Garrett's now side by side with Kevin, and finally he gets past the Frenchman, or does he? Because Kevin is coming back on the inside, and he's disappeared, and he gets in front. So a bit of desync there between the two, but Kevin teleports his way and stays up to P8 there. Jake Garrett might be frustrated with that, sensing an opportunity to overtake, but finds himself with a teleported Frenchman further up the road. But Christian Chamo is 1 second behind Josh Evandro. And will he be able to open the DRS? Nope, don't say that. That's Formula 1. I don't know why I said that, but there he is then, under 1 second. He has the slipstream, but how good is that Lamborghini in a straight line? And Josh all of a sudden finds himself under pressure. It looked like no challenge will be coming his way about a few minutes ago, but all of a sudden Christian Chamo has found some pace in that Lamborghini and has turned up and switched up the tempo, and here he is there chasing down Josh. He wants his podium back, does Christian Chamo. He was P2 initially early in this race, but he made a big mistake at the final corner and was way far behind. But here he is then, Christian with a late race surge is hunting down Josh Evandro. But we'll see then, can the Brit or the Welshman respond to Christian? He has responded by a 10th on that middle sector. They'll both be pushing equally hard, try and stay ahead and bring the gap down as well. High pressure stuff between the two, but which one of those two is going to take P3 away. And you know what, despite Josh Evandro being under pressure, he's coping under pressure well, because actually he started to gain in on Harry Palmer so slightly too. So despite being hunted down, it's maybe motivated to go a bit forward and try and close in on Harry Palmer too. It's never a nice feeling, is it, when you get hunted down? It's easy, I dare say, to make mistakes when you're being hunted down. Where if you are the hunter, it's easy to force your rivals into mistakes. But however, Jake Garrett and Kevin are quite close together, but still not able to make that lunge is Jake Garrett. He must be so frustrated to be stuck behind that BMW. What I was going to do was watch the first lap of the race. Well, of course, we've had some action to do so, so let's go back to the first lap to see and analyse what happened there. So, as we came on the first lap, headed down into turn 3, and there was clear contact. I think, unfortunately, Meneses, it was Dunley and Meneses who made contact. It wasn't Michael Eckholt, and as a result, where is Dunley right now? I think Dunley is out of the race, yeah. unfortunately, Dudley is out. What a shame for him, getting taken out by Meneses there on the first lap of the race. Couldn't quite prove what he could have done. And more people in the background spun too, as well. But here he is then. That is Jake Garrett looking for a lunge there on Kevin Jeroen. And it looks like Jake Garrett's flashed him. I'm not quite sure why. Or is he trying to send a message towards Kevin there? Is that Nathan Booth versus... Yeah, it is. Sieb is ahead of Nathan Booth. So finally, Sieb Royal Gamer has got ahead on Nathan Booth. It's been a long time coming. But look at this. Side by side between Jake and Kevin. And Kevin goes off the track, which allows Jake... So Kevin has been dropped into P9 there, tried to fight as hard as he possibly could, but not enough there for Kevin, and Jake is up into P8. How many more places could Jake gain? He's got Nathan Booth further up the road with Sieb de Margel, who's done a fantastic job, by the way, Sieb, in P6 there. Struggled in the last few races, but looks like he's found his feet at ACC. Who's that I'm on board with? Don't know if it's on board with a random driver there. But there's 6 minutes left to go in the session. Christian Chamo, who had a 4-second gap minutes ago, closed the gap to 1 second, but he's been not able to close in any more than that, has Christian Chamo, because Josh Evandro has responded to his pace. And second, third and fourth, you know, in the latter stages could come close together. The gap between Josh and Harry is 9/10. The gap between Christian and Josh is 9/10 as well. So that's what they're separated by. But obviously 9/10 is a big gap in ACC in comparison to F1. Because if it was 1 second in F1, you'd have the DRS on the straight. But obviously no rear wing can open on these cars. And Ewan Small, there he is in a P1. What a fantastic job from the Scotsman in P1 there. Hasn't looked back ever since Jake Garrett made that mistake. He should be very happy with himself indeed, considering what happened to him in the last race at Valencia. Got taken out on the first lap, and he's brought himself here in France, showing a dominant display. Look at that, 20 seconds. That's a big gap. He's got over second place. I don't know what it is about this Scotsman of Ewan Small having that talent. He was quick himself in F1, but here in ACC, he's currently on another level, is Ewan Small. But look at this day, Nathan Booth wants his 6th place back, and Sieb there got a bit twitchy out of the left-hander, which might influence Nathan just a little bit to get even closer. But unfortunately, this race is about to end in 4 minutes then. It's been a fantastic race so far. This race has absolutely flown by, and this is a battle for P3. Christian Chamo has now got himself 5/10 in between himself and Josh Evandro. So this could be very important now in the latter stages. Josh has got 4 minutes left to defend from Christian Chamo. Can he defend from the Swedish driver? Josh has fought very hard for this podium, has made no mistakes whatsoever, but it's the outright pace Christian Chamo has in that Lamborghini to get himself back in contention for a podium. So Josh now has to keep it nice and composed to keep the Swedish driver at bay. Who am I going to be talking to towards the end of this race? You can see Josh taking a very wide line through there. But which driver am I going to be talking to towards the end of this race? But Jake Garrett's got ahead of Nathan now. Nathan's been demoted down into P8. So Nathan's race goes from bad to worse. He's really struggling in that McLaren. Here's Nathan. But, yeah, like I said, for the 3rd time in a row, who will I be talking to? Is it Josh? Is it Chamo? We're about to find out in 3.5 minutes' time. But you can see that Christian Chamo is starting to put immense pressure on Josh Evandro. He's getting so close now, and you can see the full view, the full scale view of that McLaren livery and the back end of the car too. Where is the best place for Christian Chamo to make his way through? Josh has fought so hard in P3 there, but Christian Chamo has had the pace. That one mistake slipped him further back, but ever since then, he's been on a charge as Christian Chamo. These two are on a party with each other, so it might get feisty indeed between these two. Both of their concentration will be sky high. The heartbeat beating at a rate of knots as well, along with the cars. Lap 29, 2 and a bit minutes left to go in this race. The concentration is at 100%. Looks like Christian Chamo is able just to get a little bit break a little bit later than Josh in P3. But now Nathan Booth is finding himself a Frenchman of Duel now. Here comes Duel on Nathan Booth as we go down into turn 1 we go. And oh, this is so close there, and Nathan gets squeezed a bit, but Nathan's still on the inside there, and there's a bit more contact between the two too, because Nathan is not willing to give up whatsoever. He does not want to be demoted even further down the field as we continue our scrap into turn 3. What's happened? Where did those two go? There we are. That wasn't me who changed positions, it was the game itself who put me on board with somebody else. But here we go then. 2 minutes left to go in this race. I believe we get 2 laps, don't we? I think. So Christian Chapman might have 2 laps to try, or 1 lap to try and overtake Josh. The one crucial lap to overtake and defend from these two. They both deserve a podium, but there's only enough room for the top 3 in this race. Is Christian going to send a late lunge up the inside? But Jake Garrett has now got a drive-through penalty and he's not able to serve it, so that penalty will be carried over to a tyre penalty indeed towards the end of the race. And it looks like Nathan's got back ahead of Kevin then, so that battle hasn't ended for P8 P9, and Nathan Booth once again is back ahead of Kevin, unless of course. So it's the final lap of the race. And this is getting very spicy now. The battle for P3 is on. Christian looking for different lines, trying to see where he can overtake Josh. Will he be here in the final corner? No, he thinks better of it. Josh is not fazed by that move. He doesn't go deep, but he knows Christian Chamo will try and force him to the inside. So Josh has got to have his wits about him on this final lap. He has to defend. He's got to look out for Christian in P4. Looking in the mirrors for the Swedish driver in P4. As you can see, braking later than the McLaren driver. So confident is Christian in P4. But where can Christian strike? Where is the best place? I dare say it's in the final sector, weirdly enough, because it's full of mid-speed and high-speed corners, of course, and people could go out wide there too, not having the grip on their tyres, and therefore Christian might be able to stick with the inside. And let's see then, does Joshua get a good run out of turn 7, heading into turn number 8 we go. Look at Harry Palmer. But it looks like Harry Palmer now might be under pressure, because the gap is 7/10 then, as 116 of Jake Garrett drive to a penalty has been served. But looks like Harry Palmer's lost a bit of pace, but this could be the moment then for the battle, for the final spot on the podium. There's only room for one more between these two. It's either Josh or Christian Chamo. Let's have a see. You can see that Josh is going on the right hand side to defend. Of course, he's picking up a bit of slipstream from Harry Palmer as we go down into the right hand and we go turn 10, and Christian Chamo is too far behind to make any sort of move. I'm looking for the number 10 driver to see where he is. He's coming around the penultimate corner right now, but is there any more opportunities for Christian to get through? Oh, will he have to settle for P4? But look at Josh, he's all over the back. Sorry about that, but here comes Ewan Spall, about to cross the line to win the French GP. But what's going to happen here between P2? Because Harry has lost a lot of place. Can Josh fight for P2? Moments ago, it looked like he was about to lose a podium, but he's about to get another place. Here we are then. Is it going to be 88 lives? Into the final corner we go. Christian Chamo goes up the inside, but there's not enough room. But Josh goes deep. This is a battle for traction out of the final corner. Who is going to finish on P3? It is Josh Evandro, who just stays ahead of Christian Chamo. His heart must have been beating on that final corner. He went a bit deep, but had better traction and stayed around the outside, and he finished in P3. Harry Palmer, though, lost a lot of time on that lap too. But oh my goodness, what a race that was. It's a shame that I had that coughing fit, because my voice was going, unfortunately, due to that cough. I didn't even drink any water throughout the whole of that either. So apologies about the commentary there. I was a bit disappointed on that last lap commentary. Could have been a bit better on my side, but I tried my best. Unfortunately, I'm just ill all the time. That's the problem. But the top 3, Small, Palmer and Evandro, I'll get them in the policy right now. Oh, bit of contact there might demote your safety rating. But I'll invite those guys to the party, if I remember how to do it, of course. Do you know what? I actually forgot how to invite people to a party. That was embarrassing.
Green line, go, go, go. So the top three have been invited to the party. I believe all the top three are here right now. So we'll go from P2 upwards then. Joshua, what a fantastic race from you. You managed to keep Christy Chama behind, but in the latter stages on that last lap, you must have been so nervous with Christy Chama up your ear. How was your heartbeat in that final corner on the last lap?
I thought you said you started from P3.
Sorry?
From P3.
You did finish P3, didn't you?
No, I got P2.
Did you?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he did not.
I did, didn't I?
No, you got P3.
You won by like 20 seconds.
Hey?
You win.
Then it
You
was
win
me,
small.
then it was
Oh
you.
shit! Sorry, I thought rotation was in the. Oh my god! I thought it was me, you, and rotation podium.
Oh. Oh no, you and B. You
No, I
won
was-
by
I
like
was-
20 seconds.
I was P3. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
So you didn't know. So you're saying you didn't know that if Christian overtook you, you'd be off the podium?
No, I did. I just had a bit of a brain melt. I knew Smalley was at top, but me, rotation, and Harry were in the party, and we've been talking for like the whole battle, so it kind of felt like we were in a world of our own. I do remember now that I was gonna get dropped off if I didn't stay ahead of Christian.
How was your heartbeat in that final corner? Because Christian almost got you, but it looks like you had the better drive out of that final corner to maintain ahead of him.
Yeah, Harry nearly shafted me big time because he had a dodgy line through that left-hander, and I got really close, and I basically overlapped him a bit. We had front wheel to rear wheel, and rotation got really close into the last. I wanted to challenge Harry for P2, but I had to worry about rotation a bit, and yeah, my heart is I'm postural tachycardic. I got a thing called POT, so my heart's already like beating a bit too fast as it is. But yeah, I kicked it up even another.
During the middle of the race, you were settled into P2 and P. Well, you were settled to P3 with Harry Palmer just ahead of you. The gap was like 5
Yeah.
seconds towards Christian. So, did you think that P3 was secure for you?
I did. I was never. This was like quite literally my first time doing. I was gonna say Spain there. Doing France on ACC. This is like the hours practice before this was my first time trying the track on ACC. So I wasn't very confident going into it. I was gonna be happy to like sit mid-table, but I don't know. My pace just clicked when it came to quali. My quali was crap, but my last lap I pulled it together and it was a decent one. I got like P9, and then in the race I always knuckle down in the race and I just concentrate a bit more, and my pace always finds a way.
During the last lap as well, you got close. You got quite close to Harry Palmer. But even though you're under pressure from Christian, did you think P2 was also there for the taking at that moment in time?
I did think so, but I knew that I didn't have the advantage in the last corner being on the outside. I knew I wouldn't. It would be really tricky for me to get the run on Harry, being on the outside. If I was on the inside, I think I could have done it, and I would have forced a nicer line for me. But I think being on the outside is a little bit tricky. So I had to worry about Christian more.
And it's the Austrian Grand Prix next weekend, so not next weekend, the week after, because of the Euros for next Sunday, as it got a bit mixed up there between the group chat with Nathan. But how are you feeling with the Austrian Grand Prix when it comes?
Very confident. Austria is one of my best tracks. A lot better than France.
So good luck there. What are you expecting of the Austrian Grand Prix? Do you think you could try and take the winner away from Ewan? Or anybody else?
I'll challenge for it, but I'd say I'm confident in looking for a podium. I'd probably say that's where I'm setting my target at.
Well, good job today, mate. You got wiped out last race in Valencia, I believe you did.
Yeah, and thank you for wishing me to crash in this race, because fortunately it didn't pay off.
And they're saying, oh, you got me story now. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. You got me there, Josh. I'll give you that one.
Right, go on. There's enough of me now. Go on to Harry.
Harry, mate. Congratulations on P2. It looks like a bit of nip between you and Christian there for P2. But did you see what happened to Christian? Because he was ahead of you by for quite a few seconds, but something happened to him in the final corner on the mid straight. So can you tell us what happened?
I don't know if it was the final corner. I think it was the hairpin, I believe. After the fast right-hander. It's just a Lamborghini. It's I'll be honest, quite a difficult car to drive. And I know that I think about all three of the Lamborghinis had problems with it throughout the race. One got a driver, I think, which was Garrett. Not sure what happened to the other, but yeah, rotation had a few issues towards the start and then managed to pull it back. Just unfortunately misses out on P3, I guess.
After you dropped into P4, were you expecting the podium? Because we know that Jay Garrett and Ewan Small were fighting for P1 and P2. But once you saw Jay Garrett out of the contention after spinning, did you think that the podium was back on? Because you had Josh crawling at the back of you and also rotation to deal with too.
I'll be honest, I had no clue on what was going to happen, because obviously there was Ewan, Jake, rotation, Josh. It was a 5 or 6 way fight for a podium. So to get P2 out of it, it's a nice. What's the word? I don't know the word.
Nice feeling.
It's nice, yeah, that one.
And also on the last lap, you lost a lot of pace there. Explain to us what happened, because you could have been under pressure by Josh and rotation coming at you at Ray Knots.
I kept it quiet in the party, but from I think it was 30 minutes on, I was on a final warning, so I was trying to just keep it on the track. And then yeah, towards the end, my tyres died, and I didn't want to try and push too hard. So yeah, and then me and Josh had a bit of a. I don't think we collided, but this is the thing about GT, taking different lines, and you can both get through the corner. You know, Josh took the tighter entry, I took a wider, and it's racing, it's close. Just fortunate we didn't collide, and yeah, still well done to Josh for P3.
You finished in P5 last time out, now it's P2 for you as well. So do you think your confidence and pace has improved ever since then?
I'm not sure. There's too many fast drivers to, I guess where I'm going to be for the next races. But yeah, they're all very quick drivers, and my confidence has obviously grown coming from now a P2. But top 5 is always a good thing.
Yeah, P12, P5, and now P2. What are you expecting from the Austrian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time, Harry, if I haven't asked you already?
Austria, obviously, straight line, and I think McLaren's got quite good straight line speed. I think it showed it today against the Lamborghini with rotation. So it's, you know, McLaren's good, and I think most people do quite well. And I think I'd do alright at Austria, so I guess we'll just see.
Well, mate, congratulations today. You drove brilliantly, and as a P2 finish for you for your first podium of the season. So well done, mate.
Thank you.
Alright, we move on to the race winner. What question shall I ask you, Ewan Small? Because I have no idea, to be honest. But I'm going to ask you, what happened to Jake Garrett, by the way? Did you two make contact? Did Jake spin or go off by himself? I didn't quite see what happened to him.
Yeah, we made a bit of contact there. Just going out the last, whatever it is, the hairpin a little bit. So
I thought...
Go on.
No, you go on.
Well, yeah, he made a little mistake going into the corner, into like the first bit of the corner, and then I thought he kind of recovered it, but I was like really close to him, and then he didn't recover it, and then he had a bad exit, and then I just tapped the rear of his car, and then he just went off spinning for it. So it's a bit unfortunate because I was hoping for a good battle with him, but I better say it is what it is. my mistake.
So, do you think you'll get a penalty towards the end of this race if Jake reports it?
Yeah, it depends if he reports it or not, but hopefully it won't be a major penalty, because it was just a bit unfortunate where I just had a bit more overspeed going into that corner, because the BMW is pretty stable compared to the Lambo, and then just a slight tap just can send somebody off like that. So it's unfortunate, but I'll leave it down to the stewards if he reports it.
So did you know that you had to pull a big margin over the rest of the field then to try and build up a penalty buffer? Depends how many penalties you're going to get.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to do. I was just trying to keep it consistent, try not to get any track limits, because they were quite easy to do around here. Just go with the flow, see how quick I can go. I knew I was quicker than the two behind, because I think I was doing in the 54s and they were just doing low 55s. So it was just pull away as much as possible. Just do a max Verstappen.
Although Max Verstappen doesn't really pull away these days because he's in a scrap with the rest of the field. But yeah, congratulations, you and Small, and that was an absolute dominant drive. I think you won by over 20 seconds, didn't you?
It was like 22, 23 in the end, I think. So.
All right, don't need to be pedantic.
But how are you feeling for the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time? Austrian Grand Prix, sorry, 2 weeks' time.
I'm not fully sure if I can race it, but if I do, I'm not going to be feeling confident because I'll probably have no practice because I'll be coming back from holiday then. So, I don't know, I'll say that and I'll probably still do alright because, I just feel quite confident with this BMW.
I remember you saying that you weren't quite confident around here in France, and look what you've just done.
Well, that's because I didn't start practicing until today, so
Alright, okay, but congratulations on the win, mate, and that was a great battle between you and Jake until that contact, but I thought contact was made because I didn't think Jake would have lost it by himself. But it's at the championship though, you're ahead of your rivals, Adrian Meneses, Jake Garrett as well, so how do you feel for the championship in the season? Do you think you could try and win it over the rest of them?
Yeah, I'll see. I'll just try and, get as many points as possible, obviously.
Yeah, Michael Eckhart didn't really have a great race, but he still, I think, he finished with P5 and P6 after a bit of contact. So you extend your championship lead against him. Michael Eckhart, I think, is your closest rival. He did finish ahead of Adrian Meneses, but I think I've already asked you that, how you feel with Austrian Grand Prix. But yeah, you said you were on a holiday. But yeah, congratulations, Ewan. It was a mega drive from you once again, and it makes you more happier now after that contact. You got taken out the first lap, didn't you, in the last race in Valencia?
Yeah, and I got sent to the back of the field, but yeah, it's nice to win. Not really like how I wanted to win, because I wanted to have a good battle with Jake, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see what consequences you have, and if you do have any penalties, hopefully your safety buffer is enough to stay in P1, because you do deserve that race win. But contact is made. We know it's not purposeful, of course, but it's a racing incident.
I'll say from the way Jake reacted in party, I don't think he'll get punished much. I think Smalley's safe.
It's the way that I didn't get any damage from it, and then Jake got like 3 seconds from it, so it was a bit weird because you would have thought if I'm tapping him on the back, I would have got more of the damage than him, but.
And also, there's a big party in Cone as well. There's I know you three in a party together. There's more of you in there. What is it like, and how is the atmosphere in there? Does it get a bit intense between all you guys? Do you shout over each other?
No, it was quite fun today. I think at one point I was talking about how the mountains in the distance look quite cool coming out of Tier 1.
That was an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Now, there's no point in racing if you're just going to take it too seriously, so just gotta have a bit of fun with it.
Oh, thank you guys.
I think that's why Jake wasn't too mad about the incident, I don't think.
Yeah, it was good racing before, right? So things happen.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. The top three, Ewan Small, Harry Palmer, and Joshua Evans. That's the top three. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Join us back at 8 PM in 2 Sundays' time, because the Euros are next Sunday too.
Bye.